All right, halftime in Sacramento, the first of two against the Lakers, and it is 62-58 Lakers. Grant, Ryan, and Jerry. Jerry, I'm going to go back to the start again. I don't know what the deal is with this Kings team coming out of the gate. That's another horrible start. They give up 37 points in the first quarter. I mean, we just saw this the other night against Denver where they gave up 41.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, digging yourself in the hole now. It's remarkable they got out of it as well as quick as they did. But, the defense in the second quarter was as good as it was terrible in the first. And so, yeah, it's hard to explain. Well, you can't explain it, really.
Yeah, they gave up 5 corner threes where they left the strong side. And the Lakers were feasting on that. Offensively, Jerry, it looked like the Kings were not attacking whatsoever in the first quarter. That changes in the second quarter, getting into the bonus at the 8:30 mark.
Yeah, I thought too, with Monk, he really got aggressive, started making some plays, and Domas really established himself inside on some high-low action. And, had it not been for a terrible, I thought, free throw shooting stretch there by the Kings, Domas in particular, who's really a good free throw shooter, has been, the Kings would be right there. But we got a ball game, that's for sure.
Jerry, you made a comment the other day. You thought in this game that the Kings had a big advantage in their starting backcourt. The score in the starting backcourt is 24-18. Does that need to grow in this second half for the Kings to win? Does that need to be more of a margin?
Yes, it does. And I think for the Kings to win, Fox has really got to be effective. I mean, he really has to come up with 17, 18 points on 10 or 11 shots. He's getting some numbers, but they're not real productive numbers. And it's clear he can get to where he needs to go. So I think that'll be the key as much as anything. De'Aaron really, and as you pointed out, I mean, the guard line has got to win the battle significantly.
Spot on. And they started off going off with the DHO. That did not make a lot of sense to me against this team. The pick and roll has been what's been effective. They got back to it a little bit in the second quarter, but that's Fox and Monk's specialty right there, Jerry.
Yeah, and or just even giving them some space and letting them dribble penetrate and kick off for those easy shots, either inside or out. But you're absolutely right. The dribble handoff, I don't know, what's been good about that.
Great point. We talked about Mike Brown's comments at practice, kind of calling out De'Aaron Fox, and he responded in this first half with not a very good first half shooting. I mean, he was 3 of 10. He missed both of his threes. So I'm with you. I think in order for this Kings team to win in this second half, that is going to be key. Let's talk about this Lakers team now that they're healthy. They went through a very rough stretch just recently, and they broke out of it the other night with a win against Memphis when they had LeBron James return. Does this team look different to you, Jerry, than the Lakers team that we saw last season in which the Kings won all 4 games?
Yeah, I think they do a little bit. I honestly, I think, they're a little more settled in their starting lineup. And I do think that Gabe Vincent has given them a little bit of a push. And especially he's a good defender, which they didn't have. So I think that's kind of the thing. I mean, last year, they were struggling finding their starting lineup kind of thing, and Hachimura was in and out. And even though he hasn't done a lot this particular game, he's a good player and has been for them.
Yeah, say what you want about the Lakers. They've been playing with very high IQ when they're winning games. They're targeting mismatches, and they're finding a way to get those mismatches, especially tonight with AD.
Yep. And free throws, both teams really struggling at the line. And that's something that's been a bright spot for Sacramento in this season. But tonight, the free throw shooting is not very good. Let's hope that improves in this second half.
Yeah, and, I think the other thing, we can tell pretty much if the Kings are going to win the ball game by the pace. It's got to be the faster, the better, because obviously in the half-court game, the Lakers are better.
100%. Also, the pressure, Jerry, that's where the turnover started coming. Keon Ellis, great energy off the bench. I thought Kevin Huerter had some good minutes, too. Don't let them get into those sets, into the spots that they want.
Yeah, and like Austin Reeves is a really good player. And and D'Angelo Russell can score, but they're not. He can't really he's not quick and can't penetrate. You really got to really pressure the ball against him, because if you let him operate, he'll find people and find him. He's smart. He knows how to play, but one thing he isn't is super quick with fast at all. So you can turn him and really pressure him.
And a couple of scores that really jump out at you. The Clippers tonight beat the Mavericks in Dallas 118-95. The Spurs win, and they beat the Hawks. All right. So no matter what Sacramento does, they're not jumping over the Spurs. The Grizzlies beat the Warriors. The Warriors are starting to really struggle, 144-93. The Rockets win again. They beat the Pelicans by 20. All right. And here's a score that just is like, whoa. The Knicks are beating Minnesota in Minnesota with 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter, 99-68. And the Pacers look like they're going to beat the Suns in Phoenix. So those are some of the scores to update you on in the Western Conference.
Yeah, some real surprises, and I mean, I think even the Denver was kind of struggling in their game as well. But boy, Golden State getting beat by 50.
Yeah,
and they were down about 50 from the early third quarter. I mean,
that score that you're referring to in Portland, and the Blazers are on top of the Nuggets, but only by 3 now.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get back to this game. I think the Kings are going to win this game, and I believe the importance of this second half we cannot understate, guys. Jerry, you thought that the Kings need to win both these games. Ron and I thought, okay, if you can get out of here with a split, you're still treading water. But when I look at the standings and I look at the upcoming schedule, I'm kind of leaning towards you more, Jerry, than I was the other night when I said I'd take 1-1. I don't know if 1-1's good enough. I think you do got to win both these games. This, to me, is I don't want to say it's the biggest half of the season coming up, but you could certainly make that argument.
Well, it's just as simple as the fact that Kings are 6-8 at home. And so disregard the Lakers. Doesn't make any difference who it is. These home games have to be won. You just can't make a run at the playoffs if you're under 500 at home. So, and you're almost to the halfway mark of your home game. So you just makes it double important.
Spot on, Jerry.
Yeah. Ryan, don't you agree with everything Jerry just said? It's 100% correct about the home record.
Yeah, and especially, I'm going to go as far as saying the composition of the building tonight. That atmosphere is not going to get any better if you lose this game going into the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game. I got the Kings winning 124-120. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I got the Kings winning as well. I'm going to say 123-121.
I got them 119-116 Kings.
All right.
I think we're in for a real close one, and I really do. I think De'Aaron Fox is the key. He really has got to have a solid, very productive scoring second half.
Yeah. Of course, we're going to break it down for you right after the game. We invite your phone calls. All right. So I'm going to ask you on the chat line to the folks. I think this half coming up to date is the biggest half of basketball that the Kings have played this year. Just say agree or disagree on the chat line. I just, with everything that we just talked about, Jerry bringing up the home record, Lakers in front of you, Clippers already winning, Spurs already winning, the fact that you have to then play this team again in 48 hours. You cannot understate, Ryan, the importance of these next 24 minutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt. If you want to take the fork of the road that keeps you in contention to make a playoff spot, you got to get this one. For not just tonight, for many other reasons. You got to hold your home court, like Jer said.
Yes, sir. Come out, press, run. I mean, the wilder and faster it gets, Kings by far the better team in a wild, fast game.
We're watching a player that we had the privilege of being courtside for on the call for his first ever game. That was LeBron James. And we had the privilege of going to the mailbox every week and finding a royalty check from the commercial that we were on. But the fact that we're sitting here, Jerry, in 2024, still watching this guy do what he does, I don't know if I've really ever seen anything quite like it.
Well, I haven't in basketball. I mean, you almost have to point to Tom Brady in football. That's not the only direction you can go for a guy that at the advanced age athletically being as good as he still is. He's not what he once was, but he's still very, very good.
What does he not do very well right now, do you think, is his Achilles heel?
Well, he's probably just an average defender now. As you remember, early in his early years, he was a lot like Michael Jordan in his prime. He could guard anybody in any position. He really can't do that anymore. He's okay in spots, but he can't do it for any length of time. So defensively, and then you see just the quickness that he's lost. You know, he has to crab the ball down, back people down to get shots. So, you know, as opposed to just face them up and beat them off the dribble, those days are gone. But, you know, he's just smart and strong and still finds a way to be productive.
I think you have to give him a ton of credit because he's lived through both eras. It wasn't a 3-and-D league when he came into the league, and he's adjusted his body. He's turned his game a little bit or adjusted to it and been able to play pretty good in both eras, even though Keegan Murray sent him flying in this first half.
Yeah, Keegan did a nice job on him.
Yeah.
I mean, there again, I mean, Keegan does so many good things, but he's just got to make some shots. But to your point about the 3-point, when as Grant knows, when LeBron came to the league, he really couldn't shoot very well. He was all penetration, you know, 12, 15-foot shots. But like a lot of guys, like Magic Johnson, you know, he became a good 3-point shooter for 3 or 4 years in the league.
Do you guys see any signs of the recent injuries that have slowed down Sabonis and Murray? More Murray than Sabonis, because Sabonis didn't miss a game. He just didn't practice. Keegan missed the last game. How do both of those guys look to you, Jerry?
They look pretty good to me. I thought Keegan was really running well. He, you know, it's one of those things, he wasn't getting as much done offensively, but he really changed ends of floor very well. I think, you know, Domas, you can tell he's you know, he's hurting a little bit, but he just plays through everything.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. You know, I don't have any doubt that back's bothering him. You can kind of see him stretching. Now, that's usually a pretty good clue, but, you know, the guys he's just remarkable.
We all know what happens when you have a back injury and you stop, and when you shoot free throws, you stop. And I think that might be constituting what is the struggle from the free throw line for him tonight.
Good point. We'll be on right after the game. Enjoy the second half, everybody. Jerry, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you at halftime of the next Lakers game.
Absolutely. Good luck, guys.
All right, again, enjoy the second half, everybody. Thanks for joining us right here on If You Don't Like That.